So welcome everybody. Welcome to my Capstone final presentations. My research topic is virtual reality fashion runway shows and experiment on conventional fashion communication of sustainable, accessible fashion show for designers. So to help you guys recap my projects, I will quickly go through my project's background. So first of all, I realized that the fashion show right now is quite open to almost everybody through the internet. The emerging information communication technologies make transmit of fashion informations way easier than the traditional media like runway fashion show. Brands are also using social medias and websites to enhance their communications with consumers and audience, as Gil Stark mentioned in her book. So overall, thanks to the technologies, people can be closer to a fashion show right now. But however, the fashion designer is not that close to a fashion show right now. So there are many obstacles making designers hard to give a show. For example, they have limited budget, which means that they are usually afraid to spend much money on giving a show. Also, fashion show is unsustainable and cause a lot of waste. And COVID-19 makes the situation even harder because of the pandemic controls. So there are so many reasons of making fashion shows not as accessible as the way it is to audience for fashion designers. So with this background, I start to learn about and conclude the communication model of fashion communications. So by referencing the basic communication model raised by um, Cass Stevens, I make a model for fashion communications, which is the message senders, the channels, medians, and the message receivers. So different from the basic model, there's a section called medians between the channels and the message receivers. So the medians are the information communication technologies that help people to receive message, for example, YouTube and Instagrams and any other platforms. So they basically brings the access of fashion show to the audience. However, there's no such medians between the message senders and the channels, which serves the functions of helping designers to give a show. Um, as virtual reality is one of the most popular emerging medias which brands have been experimenting with in recent years, I raised the research questions. So first, can VR be a medians to help designers to hold the sustainable and accessible shows for the audience? And what kinds of VR content can really help in this purpose? So one of the inspiring work is the Balenciaga 421 Afterworld virtual reality game show. So the fashion collection has been launched as a video game in which players wander through a future wonderland, passing avatars dressed in ripple jeans and metal arm boots. So avatar dressed in Balenciaga's current collection can be found across each virtual locations. So while anybody may play the video game on Balenciaga's websites right now, a selected group of people was invited to play this game using virtual reality headsets rather than attending an in-person event. And these projects provide insights to use gamifications and the metaverse of VR to create a virtual space where consumers can visit and interactively perceive fashion shows. So in the second half of semesters, I carry out my research in two methods. So the interview with industries and the case studies on the current VR applications. So for interviews, I have talks with interactive media business professor Gabrielle Chow, who is also the CEO of her AI fashion company and also published two articles related with metaverse fashions. So she encouraged me to explore metaverse because she thinks that the metaverse as a parallel universe to the reality is right now changing the world of fashions, right? So I also talked to another IMB professor, Christians. So his expertise of mixed realities, and he encouraged me to explore VR chat, which is the new web for him. So in my case studies, I mainly look at VR chat and other VR live performance projects provided by Jails Jobbins. VR chat has a crazy avatar system, and the world openness to all the users, which it has the potential to present closest and welcome everyone to join, in my perspective. So people are free to choose avatar to express their fashions and personalities, and people are free to customize both the avatars and the whole world. So VR chat is really like the next version of web for me, which I think is highly possible that fashion will be presented in VR in a near future, just like the way it is right now on YouTube and Instagram. So Geo's Jobbins brings motion capture systems and the volumetric scan of clothes into VR world. It is also an interesting direction to explore. So the pros of VR fashion is VR is really provide an opportunity for designers to give a show. And beyond the traditional show, audience can try clothes on. And in terms of designing a show, there's no limitation in virtual world. However, there are still some problems. So the current avatar system is too cartoonish compared to the fashion in realities, and people have no freedom to choose every single categories of clothes like jackets, jeans, and glasses to have further customization of their avatar. And most importantly, the image quality right now is relatively low, which cannot show the detailed design of each garment. So my plans in the future is divided into two parts. The text, the text of the first part is to obtain the development kit and the APK on VRChat's official channels and try to develop the public fashion space accessible to all users, and focusing just on how to display each piece of clothing and how to guide the audience watch the whole collections through spatial designs and storytelling. And the second part is to study how to transform the real clothes from the reality into digital versions. So I will mainly go through the volumetric scan if it's feasible for me. So to figure out a low-cost volumetric scan solution to bring high image quality clothes to VR world, and then estimate the cost because the cost is really important for fashion designers. And if these two steps are all finished, I will try to scan some closest and bring it into my VR world. So basically, these are all my presentations. Thanks for listening.